The customer service management system went live on October 24th. I'd like to take a few minutes talking to you about the successes we experiences, the challenges that we're facing, and what are the next steps regarding this implementation. We had quite a number of successes. The software setup went very well. That's fundamental. You've got to get the software set up right. We worked an implementation plan with our consultants for just over 2 years on a project plan that had 630 project task steps in order to be ready for that accomplishment. The files were transferred over at go live and balanced to the account and balanced to the penny. And so, because all of that was precisely balanced, we were able to move forward in confidence. Part of that file transfer is also delinquent sanitation charges that were more than 60 days past due were transferred to the City of New Orleans, and they'll no longer be the responsibility of Sewerage and Water Board for collecting. Our employees were ready at Go Live. We had gone through and developed a plan on how many employees we needed in each of the areas that needed to be trained, tested, and certified as proficient in their use of the software necessary to perform the roles. We had a training plan that had 230 employees and up to 15 different training areas of responsibility. And so in that eventually involved 1,792 training sessions. And so once the training was completed, the employees continued to practice. They were tested on accuracy and timeliness, and we were able to get those employees certified. After Go Live, there were a number of occasions of really long hours and heroic efforts as they worked through the challenges to make sure that the billing and collection process continued without operation. We were very pleased with the products and services from a company called Silverblaze. They were the provider of the web presentment interface. The website's attractive and easy to use, and it's been well received by the customers. The daily visits to our website from before Go Live to after Go Live, between the mailing that we sent out and the press conference that was conducted, our website visits have gone up by about 400%, and the page views have increased by about 500%. And so we knew we were doing well when the representative from Silverblaze said, "Don't know what you're doing, but keep it up." Folks are signing up and registering with us at a pace of I think about nearly 1,000 a day are signing up for customer accounts with us. So that's going very, very well. We had extensive communications about the system through the mailing to the homes and supplemented with all the media coverage that we had on the website. And overall, the coordination went quite well. The president of the company that is overseeing the implementation said he's been doing this for, I think he said, about 30 years. And of more than 100 similar projects, the Go Live was one of the top 10 he had ever observed. That's not to say we didn't have some challenges. The first challenge was when we pushed out that energy wave of all those communications, the mailings to over 100,000 homes and businesses, and media coverage by 4 different stations, that sent out an energy wave that returned in the form of phone calls that overwhelmed our call system. And the number of calls that came in increased by at least 50%. And there was a number of things that drove that. We had estimated an increased number of bills the previous month that was then being followed up with actual readings that were triggering some questions. Other customers were getting estimated bills for the first time. Others had questions about the website and things like that. So we got swamped to the point where we have 23 phone lines coming in, and folks were just simply getting the busy signal. And so with that, we doubled the number of phone lines coming in, went from 23 to 46 lines. Once we increased the number of phone lines, that changed our problem from busy signals to long wait times, because we doubled the number of customers that could be on hold at any one time. And so with that, our average call wait time went from 30 seconds to a minute to more than 7 minutes to as many as 15 minutes. And also the call abandonment rates went from less than 10% to more than 50% during that time immediately after go live. We believe that the challenge that we have has to do with, we've got to move our customers from being merely proficient in the software to having a mastery of the software. Right now we can push through about 750 calls a day, thereabouts, maybe a few more, and we need to be able to push through about 1,000 calls a day. And that's just simply a matter of getting more familiar with the software and being more productive. But until we have that productivity increase, we've had to extend the work hours for our call center. We're also hiring some additional personnel. We've provided customers with the ability to leave a message on our website, and we call them back the same day. We anticipate that the call volumes, the call wait times, and the abandonment rates will return back to normal over the coming days and weeks. We also had some objections to customers on the fees that we were charging for online payments. You might recall that back in August, I asked you to approve a change in the fee schedule. We had previously not charged for ACH charges, electronic checks, and we had charged $2 for the use of a credit card. We increased that to 50 cents for the e-check payment and $4 for the credit card transaction. Again, what we're doing is passing along our cost of processing. The reason why we're incurring that cost of processing is because we went from Sewerage and Water Board handling that information to a third party handling that information. We believe that we can provide the cyber protection that the customers need by essentially outsourcing that processing. And so we were passing the fees associated with that back to the customers. And so we're not storing any customer credit card or bank account information on ours at all. We're not handling it all. So with that, then the question is, how do you recover those costs? You either have to recover those costs from the entire rate base or from the customers that cause those costs to be incurred. Given that we've got customers that don't have checking accounts and don't have computers, it did not meet the fairness test to allocate a portion of those costs to them. And so we're charging those back to the customers where it's being incurred, and we're not recommending any changes on that. We also had some hardware and software issues that caused us some disruption on the Monday before go live. We had a failure of the air conditioner system, which caused us to shut down processing for one day the week before go live. We also had a failure of the virtualization software that support the CSM system on the Tuesday after go live. When you combine that to the fact that we closed that Friday to cut the system over, in the course of 7 business days, we weren't able to handle transaction for 3 of those. So we basically were pushing 7 days worth of business through 4 business days. And when you combine that with all of the additional calls that were triggered by the mailing and the media coverage, we were not able to meet our standard performance on customer responsiveness. And customers let us know very clearly we need to get that resolved. The other is, whenever you go live on a system that is as comprehensive and complex as this, you're going to have issues that are identified in go live. Going back about a week and a half ago, at that time we had 58 issues that we had encountered, and 44 of those were resolved at that time. and 14 remained in progress. Since then, we have solved those issues and added some more, but we're working through it to the point where now we're working with the consultants to finalize the checklist on the exit strategy, so that we anticipate by the end of this year, we will be able to handle this on our own and they will be off-site. So with that, the next steps that we want to focus on is we've got extensive capabilities built into our interactive voice response system. You've heard me talk about our ability to go to a map, drop a polygon down over an area, grab the addresses within that polygon to grab the accounts, which provides us the email addresses and telephone numbers so that we can call those or email those customers directly and let them know, for example, when there's a water outage or when there's construction going on in their area. We also have a number of capabilities on the web that we'll be rolling out. Some of those were even accomplished as of today. We think that that's going to make a big difference in customers being able to see the information as they open their bill and say, does this look right? Whether it's the information on the bill or the information on the website, we think that we will be able to provide a lot better service there. Also, as soon as this system gets stabilized, we'll be kicking off a project related to our automated meter reading system. I want to have kick off a readiness assessment to make sure that we have clearly documented what our project goals and objectives are, look at the alternatives for the network, the communications network that we'll be using to backhaul the meter readings, a number of other objectives. We're also working with the City of New Orleans IT group to determine the location and capability requirements that we need for that backhaul network, because we're going to partner on that as well. And so, but all of this that we've talked about, all of this is contingent upon successfully addressing the backlog of customer concerns and providing timely responses through our call center. But all in all, we believe that at this point, 3 weeks and 1 day after go live, that we are on our way to successful implementation.
Any questions for Mr. Miller?
And I'd aged in dog years the past couple of months.
Not a question, but could you provide an update at a follow-up meeting in regards to the call wait times and abandonment rates, to see if we can make sure that those are being addressed, as you said?
Absolutely. I monitor that on a daily basis, and we report that out to the this committee. And if you look at the graphs under tab 9, I'm reporting that for this month. When you look at that, you'll see that there's a number of items marked in red, and those are areas where we experienced the challenges after go live, and that we're working to get those through. Okay. But on this, you've got to make sure the software works right. You got to make sure that the data was moved over correctly and that the new processing hasn't corrupted the data. We've got that nailed. What we have to do is now, when the customers call, pick up within a very quick period of time and give them an intelligible answer and move on.
Anything else? Not, thank you on that, and we would move on to